Welcome to Pondering Psalms. We are pondering Psalm 108 today. My friend David Mullins and I are going to dive into this. We're going to look at the different verses and see how that might apply to our own lives and see what God has to say. So if you want to be a part of that, come on back. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll see you then.
Good stuff.
That was really good.
We started out with a bang, but no one will ever know.
Nobody.
You're there on God's couch, just sleeping on God's couch, eating his Cheez-Its. That was disturbing.
What are you drinking water for?
I don't know.
You know, I mean, it's not like this is our job. It's not like anybody's paying us to do this. You know, what's Pondering Psalms about? Well, let's tell you. And then
It's about 20 minutes.
About 20 on a good day. All right, so here we go. We are pondering Psalm 108. We've been doing this since we started with, of course, obviously, but we started with Psalm 69.
We've been doing this since we ended,
and we're going to do it until we don't. And
yeah, so there we go. We'll do it until we're done.
Operate. So, but we're on 108 today. So we are almost we're at the 39th Psalm that we have been reviewing.
Man, it just seems like pondering. Last year we started this.
Seems like a whole lot more than that, doesn't it?
It does.
So 39 and 108 is our Psalm of the day, Psalm of the week, I guess is how we do this. For those of you who are new to this, we read the same Psalm every day for a week. Then we get together and we talk about it and see what that has meant for us. I didn't care for this Psalm so much.
Well, if you don't like this Psalm, there's two other Psalms I can tell you you're not going to like very much.
Well, I like verses 1 through 5.
All right. Well, then there's another Psalm you will like quite a bit then.
See, you're such a master of Psalms.
Yeah. Actually, this is a combination of Psalm 57 and Psalm 60.
Oh, it is? They merged it together, huh?
They brought it in for a new situation.
See, and I didn't know that because we started in 69. Had we started in, 49.
We missed it by 9. We would have thought, hey, this sounds familiar to
I know.
me.
What's this all about?
Yeah.
It's like reruns, right? It's watching an old Seinfeld episode.
Yes. And so it says it's a Psalm of David, but it's really written much later than David, but they used two Psalms that were probably written in the time of David, perhaps. I don't know. So that's not helpful. But nevertheless,
I didn't read any commentaries this week. I didn't have any kind of context. I read the Psalm every day.
And what was it that caused you to not appreciate this Psalm like you have some of the others?
It felt like honestly, I did not know this, but it felt like two Psalms were smashed together.
Well,
it really did.
You are a textual critic now. So
this seemed incongruent. It's like I'm reading verses 1 through 5,
right?
And I love it. And then I need to go from 6 to 13. It's like, where'd this come from?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So anyway, if we go back to 1 through 5, we don't want to just skip over that because that's the only part of the Psalm that Kurt really connected with. And it is great. I really like, I wake up the dawn with my song.
Yeah. This is for early birds. See, you and I are early birds.
Well, I'm not sure in the morning, I would wake up with a song.
Oh, see, I could get out my guitar and just play for Anita. I could just wake her up.
And what would happen if you did that?
That'd be the last time I'd ever play that guitar. I'm pretty sure, but
yeah. Yes. There's a rule among introverts. And that is you don't speak to them until at least 3 hours after they get up.
See, that's a problem. I'd be chatty right away. Hi, hey, how you doing? Hey, when we were at family camp years and years and years ago, and one of the kids' dads who had come along, he was in our cabin. He came into the sleeping area with a pan and a metal spoon. And I'm an early bird. I'm usually up early, but he was up before everybody else. And man, he just about made me wet my pants. I mean, he scared us to death. He just came in clanking and clanking. And we had to pull him aside and go, we don't do that here. That's not the message we're trying to send to a place when you're in a spiritual retreat setting wake people up that way.
Do you remember what we used to do at like, now we were never at the same youth camp. I directed a few junior high camps and stuff, and you probably did as well. Oh, what was the song? There's a song we used to always sing to really drive the kids crazy. Da 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 da, and give God the glory, glory, rise and shine, and give God the glory,
glory, rise and shine,
shine.
give God the glory, glory, children of the
Lord. We'll fix that in post. But anyway, I thought about that as I'm reading this. I will wake up at dawn with my song, because it was such a happy song that when you're not ready to wake up in the morning, you do not want to hear. Rise and shine. Yeah.
Rise and shine. I love that song.
Yeah.
Well, and I just really liked it. I mean, no wonder I can sing your praises.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's just it's written so pretty. Look at me. I'm like a fourth grade education. It's written in a way that really does help somebody kind of connect with what God has done in their lives. Your unfailing love is higher than the heavens. Your faithfulness reaches to the clouds. Be exalted above the highest heavens. May your glory shine over all the earth. How beautiful.
It is. And it starts with, my heart is confident in you.
Yeah.
And I think a question that this psalm asks is, what is my heart confident in? Is it confident in my finances?
It's not confident in much else right now.
Is it confident in my security? Is it confident in the fact that I've been born in the United States and I have resources and I have options? Is it confident in my ability to earn a living, or my ability to think and be creative? Where is it confident in my family that they'll take care of me if something goes woefully wrong? Is it confident in my government that it will take care of me if something woefully goes wrong? Or how's this? My heart is confident in my retirement package. I mean, there's a lot of things.
Yeah, and right now, we're in year one. We're finishing up year one of a pandemic, election cycle, riots and unease, and it's just like, what is there to be confident in? I mean, tell me the one thing that we can be confident in. I don't know what it is right now, except we can be confident in you, God.
Yeah. He says his heart is confident in God. And I think that is why verse 6 is actually in here, because they're in a tough place.
Well, apparently, yeah.
Yeah, they are. And what he seems to be doing, and I might be completely getting this wrong, but he is going back into the history of Israel and the history of the Psalms, and pulls out Psalm 60. And it's like, God has promised this. And then he quotes from Psalm 60, which was a much different time in some ways. And he's talking about dividing Shechem. These are all areas around Israel. And you can just read it for what it is. I mean, there's not time to dive into these places. But one I will bring up, and that's Edom. Because he says, I will wipe my feet on Edom. And something that had happened when, I think it was Babylon or Assyria, had came in to destroy Jerusalem. I think it was Babylon. Edom had a chance to actually help.
Right. Yeah.
But they turned their backs.
Yeah.
And, when we talked about this last week, I thought this whole, I think the translation is, I will throw my shoe or something like that, my sandal at Edom. And I thought it was going back to that whole thing of, that horrible, it's almost like flipping them off in the Middle East. But none of the commentaries talked about that. So I don't know if that was the case then. And it could have been, some of the commentaries mentioned, you wipe your feet on someone. It's kind of like it's a victory. You're victorious over them. So I just wanted to throw that out there because it might not have anything with the whole throwing the shoe at President Bush that happened as an insult.
Yeah, that was quite a while ago, but if you're around, you remember that. It was pretty dramatic.
Well, it was weird.
It was weird, but it was scary, right? I mean, you don't usually throw things at a president.
No, you don't, but it was a shoe. So
yeah, but nobody knew that when it first
well, that's
through
true.
the air. People were really concerned.
Yeah, but he ducked it. He ducked it.
Yeah, he did have good reflexes.
Yeah, if you want to read about Edom, you look at the very small book of Obadiah. Obadiah has a lot of negative things to say about Edom, and that's all he says. It's one chapter. I think it's like 14 or 15 verses.
Minor prophet.
Yes, and it's all about just how horrible Edom was. Edom was. So yeah.
Okay, so we've spent enough time in these verses.
We have. And here he comes back to that verse 1. Who will bring me into the fortified city? Well, who will? My confidence is in you. Who will bring me victory? My confidence is in you. Oh, wait a minute. How do you feel about this verse, Kurt? Verse 11.
Well, I felt like it was reflecting back on the prior five or six verses, 5 verses about, or 6 through 9. So whatever that is. That's 4 verses.
We just need to leave it all in,
So, it's reflecting back on so I felt like it did not reflect back up onto verse 1, even verse 10. I felt like it was calling, God, look, you have said you're going to do these things. Right. So why aren't you doing it?
Well, I think that's where verse 11 comes in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do. But I don't think it goes back to verse 1. I don't think it's back to verse 1 saying, my trust is in you. It's just, where are you? You're not showing up. You promised you were going to do all of these amazing things of war, wiping feet, and you're going to use these folks as your helmet, and these folks you're going to look over and dismiss, and you haven't done any of that.
I view it still going back to verse 1 in the same way that in Star Wars, it's like, help us, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're our only hope. Our confidence is in you because you're our only hope. But yet, will Obi-Wan actually be able to help them? Because we don't know. We don't even know who the guy is at that point in the story. And here, their confidence is in God, but the fear is that God won't show up because maybe he's rejected them.
Yeah.
And then verse 12, he begs them, please help us. For all human help is useless. So right there, as you said in verse 1, we have no other hope. Yeah. And that's basically what he's saying in verse 12.
Yeah, I could just live in verses 1 through 5, which are 5 verses, by the way.
Well, what if...
give me a reason. Convince me that I need to pay attention to verses 6 through 13.
Well, because of the situation they're going through. I mean, have you ever been at a point where you want your confidence to be in God, that it doesn't look like God's showing up, even though he's made these wonderful promises to always be with you, to always help you through things, and you're at your wit's end and you have nowhere else to turn. And you basically say that in verse 10. And so you start wondering, well, gosh, maybe God's rejected me. Maybe he doesn't love me like I thought he did. And then it becomes a prayer. Help me, help us because human help is useless. All the other help is useless. I was going to suggest, what about verses 1 through 5 and verse 13?
There you go. I like that.
I figured you might.
Here's what, and I if anybody's been watching this for a while, they may have already picked up on this. I love playing devil's advocate. I love being
here. The devil doesn't need any more. He has enough advocates already, Kurt.
I love being able to take a psalm that maybe didn't do anything for me and to push you a little bit, because you're able to find this deep, wonderful connection that takes us to a new insight. And I appreciate that about what you do with the Word of God. I really do. It helps me, because sometimes I just read through stuff. It's like, don't care. Yeah. This doesn't do anything for me. But then, if you take from verse 1 and 5, and then take it down to 13 with God's help, We can do mighty things. And again, trampling our foes. Uh, trying to
I kind of missed that one.
trying to give up the war theme, but
Well, now I don't know how this will work out.
oh, well, let's try it.
Might as well. What if, and I'm not suggesting we do this, but what if we basically replace all the places of names with places of challenges or issues we have? Of course, it doesn't work to say is mine or my helmet or any of that. But
well, those wouldn't be challenges, right? Those
I will wipe my feet over racism. I will shout my triumph over coronavirus. Put that through there, and then who will bring me to the peaceful place, to the good place? Who will bring me victory over racism or the coronavirus? God, where are you? Have you left us? Will you no longer be with us as we fight against these things? Please help us.
You're such a good pastor. I love it. I love that. That's great. That's really insightful.
Well, I think that's what they were doing, though.
It's contextualizing it.
Yeah, I think that's what they were doing. And that's why they went back and found, again, I don't know for sure because I haven't talked with them, but I could see that because really a lot of who we are hasn't changed over, thousands of years. We still fall in love. We still get disappointed. We still put our hopes in things and are disappointed. I mean, all that stuff is part of being human. Yeah. And so I think that, they went back and said, well, gosh, we've got this challenge here and God has made these promises and we're just a little bit confused over all this, but we really know we need his help.
I love that. That's really, really good. That is very helpful for me.
Well, I'm glad because if I can help one person, and it's been worth. Sometimes it's been worth the thousands, tens of thousands of dollars I spent in seminary and all the years to help that one person.
Yeah, and if it's just me, then
Yeah, I know.
Where are we even recording this? If it's only me that you're helping, we could be doing this.
I failed to tell you this. We are just doing this for you, Kurt.
You had enough people reach out and go, "This guy needs."
Yeah, no one else is really watching this. It's all we've fabricated the whole thing.
There is no such thing as YouTube.
No, there's not.
We created all that.
It's just all for you. It's like a Mission Impossible movie.
You're going to tear off your mask. Oh shoot! All right,
Herb Walda.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Now we got to tag Herb. See, we got to let him know.
Yeah, I guess so. He'll have to watch an awful long time to get to that point.
Yeah, we won't tell him that. We'll let him start from the beginning.
Watch, you're in it.
We mentioned Herb Walda at least 6 times. Herb Walda, Herb Walda, Herb Walda, Herb Walda, Herb Walda.
Oh man!
For those of you who are watching, Herb Walda and I worked together as pastors. He was senior pastor. I was the associate at College Avenue Methodist Church years ago.
Yeah,
and it was quite an experience.
Early '80s, if I remember.
No, I graduated from college in '87.
I know you did.
No, it was a highlight, I think, on both of our ministry experiences, and Herb and I remain friends, and so it's kind of fun to bring up his name in vain once in a while. Herb Walda.
Yeah.
Look, we got him in even another time.
And plus, it's a fun name to say.
It is a fun name to say.
It is.
And I like to call him Herbie.
Ooh. Herbie.
He doesn't know that. I've never called him that. I've got a story to tell.
Maybe we'll put it after the end credits. Is it good enough for the?
It's an end credit story.
Okay. All right. So so there you go. Stick around.
Oh, I love it. Yes.
Yeah.
Stick around after we run the credits. Well, I'm going to tell you a story about Herb and my oldest son, Jonathan, and it's
excited.
Gold.
I'm excited. So
yeah.
Hey, it's been a great day. I want to get what?
We're done. 108.
I know. 108. We are finished.
We're going to 109 next week.
We are. It's like 32 verses, something 31. Like that.
You 31. The difference, and we're right there. And you think I'll like it better? Have you read ahead?
I have not, so I have no idea if you will like it better.
All right, we'll see. Come back and find out if Kurt likes the next psalm.
Yes.
That's the way to do this.
Yeah.
All right, so we will talk to you later. Thanks for following along. We have no idea what this is going to look like when it's all said and done, but you're along for the ride.
It'll look like something.
We'll talk to you soon.
Blessings, everyone.
Bye. All right, so I'm sitting in my office, and Herb comes in, and he is in tears. He is laughing so hard, and what the context is that we at the church had developed this daycare center, and so there were a lot of kids, and right outside of our offices was a water fountain with a little step so the kids could get up to it, and so it just happened to be the time where all the kids were out there getting a drink of water, and Herb had gotten in line, and Jonathan was right behind him, and as they're moving forward in the line, Jonathan says,
how old was he?
"Oh, Jonathan, he would have been 4, right? It's daycare."
Okay.
And so I think he said, "Hurry up, butthead." and Herb was like, "Well, Jonathan, I don't think I know your dad, and I don't think he would want you talking like that." He went, "He doesn't care, butthead." And he said, "Now I work with your dad, and I'm sure you don't call me that when you're at home." He went, "All the time, butthead." And Herb came in, and he was just a mess because he'd never seen anything so funny in his whole life with Jonathan. Jonathan doing this. Jonathan, he was 4, he didn't know, but that's the kind of impression you want to make on your boss.
Yeah, and kids hear stuff at home, and then they take it out. I always hated that,
If that's the worst he heard, that's all right with me.
In retrospect, I'm wondering if he's trying to say Bawalda.
See, thank you, Herb Bawalda, for leading my children. That's excellent.
Oh, I'm just calling you what everyone else does.
Mr. Bawalda, Mr. Butthead.